Okay, so welcome everybody to this Q&A clinic session that we have for PMS. So before we start with the questions, let me go through a couple of slides. So as you know, this session is going to be recorded as always, and we will make it available in the EMA YouTube channel and also on the event web page. It will take a couple of days until we get a recording and we are able to publish everything. We are doing the same with all the sessions that we are having for PMS. As always, we will use a Slido to receive your questions. You can upvote the questions. As always, the interaction in a Slido is voluntary. You may opt to remain anonymous, but if you are using a Slido, then you consent the processing of your personal data, as we have explained in the EMA data privacy statement for a Slido. Just before I give you the QR code and everything for the Slido, just a couple of notes on the upcoming events that we have for PMS. So on 14th of March, we have it's a webinar for marketing authorization holders and software developers, where we will explain and try to answer as many questions as possible for the right PMS API. This is happening on the 14th of March. Then, as every quarter, we have the public system demo. This quarter is happening on the 26th of March. And then we have a couple of webinars for SPOR and the XBMPD status update that we do every quarter. You have the dates there. So we have on the 9th of April, 9th of July, and 8th of October, the different webinars. You have the event page already there, so you can register. And last but not least, as always, as we have already said, on the 21st of May, we have this year the PMS Info Day. It's going to be an event that we will broadcast. You can already register to have the link and everything in case you want to have additional information on PMS, strategy, and everything. So this is the QR code this time for Slido. You can also join through slido.com, and then you can use this PMS QA 2502. This would be the code to join Slido. So with this, I will keep this for a moment. I think, Vivian, you are going to share your screen so we can go through the questions.
Great. So already receiving quite a few questions. Okay, and I think we can start with the first one already, Marcos. Okay.
So this question is regarding the authority that should be included in the manufacturing business operations. If it's either the one with the GMP certificate or the one granting the marketing authorization of the variation. So as you have in the chapter 2, this one is the one that is granting the GMP certificate for the manufacturing business operation and the manufacturer, not the one approving the variation. Nevertheless, we have received a couple of comments on this field, because sometimes marketing authorization holders don't really know which is the organization or the log ID that should be linked or included in this field. So in Q2, we will change the conformance of this field. Now it is mandatory. We will remove it, and in principle, it will be optional from Q2. So if you don't know it, maybe don't submit this manufacturer yet, because we will change, as I said, the conformance, and then if you don't know it, you can leave it empty.
Okay, perfect. So next question. Okay, so according to Chapter 2, LINOIS can have different values than the CP registration. For instance, the date of first authorization. A separate PMS ID would be needed for those countries to capture such data. How should we deal with this?
So I think I already replied to something like this last time. So in PMS, we have decided not to migrate the caps where the authorization country is Liechtenstein, Norway, and Iceland. We will only migrate the one that is coming from EU, so where the authorization country is EU. In XBMPD, you still need to submit this data, and if you have these discrepancies on the first authorization date, etc., you can submit it in XBMPD. But in PMS, it was agreed with the SMEs, with the EAF team, with everybody consuming data. They are not using those records. They are only using the EU ones, and therefore that's why we have decided not to migrate them. So again, in XCVMPD, you submit the data, the records. If there are discrepancies on any field like this authorization date, you reflect it there. For PMS, only the EU ones will be migrated.
Okay, moving on to the next one. The PLM Human Medicinal Product Overview Report that can be accessed without login is from the 27th of January, so quite old. Is there a plan to update daily or more frequently this report?
Yes, so actually I ask the team that is dealing with this report to update it. It is true that I haven't followed up if they did it or not. I will do it again. The idea is that we are doing this, if I'm not mistaken, once a week, so maybe there is an issue. I will check again with the team, but the idea is, yeah, we shouldn't be like for a month without updating this report. I will follow up again and check why this is happening, and we will try to update it as soon as possible. So thank you for the for the comment here.
Okay, so moving on. Is it possible to submit in the PUI pack size and MBO separately? Does the system allow it?
Yes, you can do that. There is no issue. You can create a change request for a manufacturer or an MBO, and then a different one for the structure pack size. You can actually create a change request including only one manufacturer, and tomorrow you can include a different one. So yeah, there is no need to submit to submit all the information with the same change request. You can do it as you want.
Okay. If the MII number is not found in the EU GMPD certificate, could we use a certificate number for manufacturers in the EEA?
I don't know, and I would need to check internally if we can accept this number or not. So we will take this question and we will gather feedback, and I will include this in the PMS Q&A document, because yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer, but I will look for it and we will include it in the in the Q&A document. Sorry for that.
Okay, next question. Could you please specify how data are updated after XEVMPD submission? For instance, all data fields or only inserts updates?
Yeah, so I can explain. In XEVMPD, every time we receive an XEV PRM, so when you submit either an insert, an update, an invalidation, so any change that you do to XEVMPD, in XEVMPD, we receive the full, let's say, all the fields that we have in XEVMPD. Even if you have just changed, for example, the package description, we receive the full product. What we do then is we take this XEV PRM and we send it to PMS. It is converted to a FIRE format, and we update the data that is there. We do this with all the changes coming from XEVMPD, as I said. So updates, inserts, invalidations, everything. This is the way we are capturing the data or the updates from XEVMPD. This is also explained on chapter 9, where we explain how the deltas are managed from XEVMPD to PMS.
Okay, so next question. Regarding ISLI and O country, the records should be removed. Oh, sorry, let me go. From PMS, and the management has to be through XEVMPD. But how does the web EAF can be used for these countries?
Okay, wait. This is only impacting caps. Okay, so maybe the question goes there, but just to make it clear. MRPs, DCPs, or national products authorized in these countries, they are in XCBMPD and they will be in PMS. And you can use the EAF, ESMP, so like all the consuming systems will be consuming non-caps in these countries because we have them in PMS. Now, the centrally authorized products, only the record from you will be migrated. The EAF, and that is what we discussed with the EAF team, they only need the EU record because when you have a centrally authorized procedure, you only submit one EAF for the country EU. You don't send 3 or 4 different EAFs, one for EU and then another one for Iceland, another one for Liechtenstein, and another one for Norway. There is only one EAF. That's why we have migrated only the EU record. I hope that clarifies. We will again check with the EAF team, but this is the requirements that we received from them, and that's why we have followed this process. I see a lot of questions for this. I don't know if it's clear or not, if we need to, I don't know, include more information or make any review of the fields that we have, or, the migrations that we are doing. You can also contact the SMEs in case you would like us, I don't know, to discuss anything further, but that is the answer. So for CAPs, you only need one EAF with the authorization country EU. And then for non-CAPs, these products are migrated. And therefore you can use them in the EAF and in any other system.
Next question. Medicinal products, manufactured items and ingredients are said to be migrated from SciAmed as per Chapter 7, but we see the message in PMS that these data are unavailable. When are they, when they're going to be made available? This is the same for packaged medicinal products.
So if you have found this issue that the manufactured item and ingredients are not in PMS for a CAP, remember that this SciAmed is only containing CAP data, then you need to open a ticket because we need to review why we are not migrating this data from SciAmed. Again, if it's a CAP, if it's a non-CAP, the manufactured item and ingredients will be empty. So yeah, you can open a ticket, we will review. For the packaged medicinal product, this data is coming so for the packages are coming from SciAmed, but then the EV code, it's coming from XCBMPD. So the packages should be coming from SciAmed. So again, if you are missing any package, again for CAPs, you can open a ticket and we need to review how SciAmed has captured this data and what is the issue with the migration.
Moving on, how frequent the XCBMPD data is pushed to PMS?
Every time there is an update. So also, this is also explained in Chapter 9. What we do is every time we receive an XCBPRM in XCBMPD, we send it to a queue that we have with all the XCBPRMs, and then we process them one by one as they come. So but it's constantly, we are updating this constantly. If we have a lot of messages to process, then it might take some time to, reflect the changes in PMS. Also, if we have XCBPRMs with a big number of EV codes impacted because you are sending a bulk update or things like that, where the same XCBPRM contains a lot of products, that also takes even more to be processed in PMS. And then from PMS to the product UI, it can take a couple of hours because the integration routine is not done constantly. It's like every couple of hours we run the integration again, and we just pick those products from PMS that have been updated, and we update the product UI. So that might take a bit longer, but that is the process that we follow for the deltas from XCBMPD.
Next question. Could you please provide an update on the expected timeline for completing the reloading process and confirm when the data will be available for review?
That was finished like a couple of weeks ago. We removed the banner from the PLM portal. We have also updated the Q&A document with the finalization date. So in principle, you can review that was a problem with ingredients and ATC code, etc. So this has been already done.
Okay. Next question. There are some discrepancies between the addresses of MBO sites listed in the dossier and those registered in OMS, which are also reflected in PMS. What actions should we take as the marketing authorization holder?
Yeah, so we are taking the data from OMS. So if there are discrepancies, you would need to check if the organization is correct and the location is also correct, even if there are some discrepancies on the address. If the location is completely wrong, you have a completely different address, then you need to raise a ticket because we need to correct this data in SciAmet because we are taking this data from now I don't know if the question is for CAPS or not. Those registered in OMS. So yeah, if in your dossier you have an address and then you go to OMS and it's slightly different but it's the same address altogether, then it's fine. OMS is doing some standardization of the data. So when you submit the data in OMS, they change a bit maybe the name of the address or how the address is displayed. But if the data, like the name of the street is the same, the postcode is the same, etc., then there is no issue. It's just the way OMS is managing the data and is doing this standardization of the data.
Okay, so next question. Okay, so for NAPS, we can still see the missing EV codes for which we have performed inserts in XEV and PT in May 2024. When can we expect 100% NAPS data in PMS PUI?
I don't know if I understand the question because you say that you see the missing EV codes. So if you say that you are missing EV codes, so this is what I explained yesterday in the webinar. There are a couple of issues that are preventing users to see some products. One can be related to the authorized dose form. If we don't have the mapping to RMS, then the product is not visible in the product UI or in the reports. We are working on that. In principle, this week, we will have the deployment in the UAT environment to make sure that it's working, and then we will deploy in production. It can also be because you have an invalid organization. So you need to maybe do a first analysis. Okay, what is the issue? Otherwise, you can open a ticket with the AV codes and we can say, okay, these are missing because of this issue, or no, these are in PMS with this PMS ID. These are linked to this specific company. So we can do that. It's, there are a couple of issues you might need to investigate a bit, or send us a ticket with the EV codes and we can investigate.
Okay, moving on. Will EMA be publishing any work instruction document for data updates in PMS or process flows?
So no work instructions because, work instructions. We have in PLM portal, we have the user manual on how updates can be submitted in PMS. In chapter 3, you also have a lot of information on how updates can be done in PMS. So the data, the information is there in the PLM portal as user manuals and instructions, also in chapter 3 with all the data that should be submitted and the summary. So this is the information that we have. We are not planning to submit anything else. Maybe we can think about it if it's needed, but the information is there in the different chapters of the guidance, and also then you have information on XEVMPD. There are a lot of webinars with a lot of information as well. I don't know, if this is needed, we might think if we have the capacity to create this documentation, but at the moment we don't have the capacity to create additional documents.
Next question. When only EU is needed, then Chapter 2 states about the different first authorization dates for NO, LI, IS, if different needs to be captured. This is contradicting.
But then we will review Chapter 2 and we will amend it if needed.
Okay. Moving on. Will the pack description for CAPS data keep coming from SciAmed in future also? How frequent does SciAmed data get pushed to PMS?
So for the moment, yes, the package description for CAPS will be coming from SciAmed until we decommission SciAmed. There is a plan to decommission SciAmed, but as long as it's there, it will come from SciAmed. And then the data from SciAmed is refreshed in PMS every night. So at night, there is a refreshment from SciAmed to PMS.
Okay. Hang on. So previously, information such as orphan designation and other data fields were visible, but are now missing in PMS. For CAPS, much of the data migrated from SciAmed appears incomplete or missing. When will all SciAmed data be fully visible in PMS?
I need a ticket for that because we should not be missing data from SciAmed. So can you please open a ticket? We would need to know like which data are you missing? Yeah, please open a ticket so we can review it.
Okay. Next question. In PMS, ingredients are still not aligned as submitted in XCV MPD and nullification of duplicate PMS ID pending. As per latest Q&A, the issue should be resolved, but it is not the case. Can you clarify?
Yeah, so what we said is we have done this, we have finalized the updates on the ingredients and everything. If you see discrepancies, you need to let us know so we can check where the issue is coming from. And for the nullification of duplicates, if it's a cap, it's also explained in the Q&A document. There is a bug with the load of data from SciAmed that sometimes is creating duplicates on the presentations. We are putting in place a process to remove these duplicates, but it's taking a bit of time because we need different people from different teams to do that. So we are working on that. If it's not a cap and you see duplicates, if you have raised a ticket, we are working on that. But again, the team is working on different things and the nullification of these duplicates might take some time. Yeah, if you have not opened a ticket, open it. If you have done it, we will be working on it in the next couple of weeks.
Next question. Are there plans to enhance the reporting section reports with more filter options?
Yes, we want to do it. We depend on the capacity of the team. So for the moment, the priority for the product UI team is enrichment and the bulk update, because this is needed, like instead of updating product by product that you can submit multiple products at the same time. This is the priority for this quarter, and then we will do the UAT and production next quarter. But we already have in the plan improvement and new reports that we want to create. It will depend on the capacity that we have, but it's on our plan to improve and create new reports.
Okay. Next question. So for LINOIS, you should update Chapter 2. It is contradicting to have only one PMS ID with requirements for some data elements according to Chapter 2. For example, data first authorization, renewal date, and so on.
Yeah. We will review this. We take the comment on the Chapter 2 and we will have a look at it.
Perfect. Okay, so for PMS issues identified on CAPS due to SciAmed value structure for package description, is it feasible to ask Emma Snow for updates to XCV values and sustainable, or would it be overwritten by sync loop with SciAmed? Currently 100% unmatched with RIM.
I don't know if I understand this question. So the package description for caps is coming from SciAmet and it will continue coming from SciAmet. So even if you send updates to XCVMPD on this field, it will not be taken in PMS. There is a rule that for caps, we don't override the package description for from XCVMPD. It will remain the one that is from SciAmet. So that is the thing. Also in your RIM, if you use it to submit the data, then the enrichment and everything, you can send it. We will not take the package description that is coming from your RIM. It will remain the one that is coming from SciAmet for these values. Yeah, I don't know if that could be the answer to the question. Otherwise, if you can, yeah, write a follow-up so I can understand better.
Yes. Okay. So next question is, why in most of the products there are missing EV codes, even we have the respective package item along with the MA number available in PMS?
Again, I would need to know which type of product. If it's a cap, I would say that is a cap, because if you have EV codes and also the packages in PMS, that is a cap. Otherwise, you would not have the package or the EV code in PMS. So that is due to the match and merge. So what we do is from SciAmet, we take the product, we take the packages, and then we need to have a submission from XCVMPD, and we check if the MA holder is the same and the authorization number is the same. So we merge the product from SciAmet and the one from XCVMPD. You need to make sure that the MA number in the EU number from XCVMPD is the same as the one that we have in in SciAmet, sorry. So XCVMPD and SciAmet are the same. And also that the location ID from XCVMPD is the same as the one we have in SciAmet. That will do the match and merge. Again, if you have the same data in both fields and still you are missing the EV code, let us know. And we can check. We can also try to send the update to XCVMPD to see if it works. But yeah, there are some caps still that are having this issue. But it should be very easy to solve, so you can let us know.
Okay, next question. Despite the recent reloading, we're still encountering data quality issues in the PMS migrated XCV MPD data, similar to those observed prior to the reloading process.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you need to open a ticket so we can investigate what is the problem there.
Okay. What are the actions expected from the MAH following the SMS cleansing that is currently ongoing? Will MAH be requested to update PI M3 as per updated list?
So I don't know when this process will finish from the cleansing of substances from SMS. And in principle, we will not require any update on the product information, the SMPC or module 3. That is also it's not on the PMS team to decide if we will require something like this. In the webinar that I explained, that I did yesterday, I was explaining that for the moment, this cleansing of substances in XCVMPD, etc., is not mandatory. You can have some changes can happen for these SBG flag 0 substances, can be done automatically without the need to update or include any information on the SMPC or module 3. But for the moment, there is no plan to request any update on module 3 or anything like this. Now, if then with the SMS team, it's decided to do something different, we also need to discuss with the NCAs, because this is not something like, we can take maybe this decision. It has to be agreed with the network. So I think I don't have an answer yet to this. We don't have a plan, but we don't know what is going to happen. We need to discuss with the network.
Okay. So, next question. If for MBO agency it is expected to have the authority issuing the GMP certificate, why is EMA listed for CAPS?
Well, that was a value that it was included there. It's automatically populated, but we might need to review this rule. For the moment, it's just for all the products for CAPS, we have this authority there, and we might need to review it. This authority for the moment is not used in any process. It's not really consumed. It's just data that we populated because it was a mandatory field as it is now. But as we are going to change the conformance, then we might review this data. It was just automatically for CAPS. We migrated this data from SciAmed, and we included this as a default value.
Perfect. So following up on CAPS package description, our automated QC 100% fails due to SciAmed values format. Is it feasible for you to update PMS to XCV values, RIM, by logging as ServiceNow ticket, and feasible to stop overnight refresh sync SciAmed
No.
PMS?
So the answer is no, because we have iris processes for CAPS are relying on the package description. So at the beginning of the, I can explain. So when we launched PMS, we were taking the package description from XCVMPD for CAPS. But then we received a comment from the parallel distribution and the inspection, so from IRIS colleagues, that they were relying on the package description from SciAmed on their processes. So that's why we had to revert it back to be consumed from SciAmed. So no, we cannot change this because that would break a couple of processes that the IRIS colleagues are following for CAPS. And obviously, we cannot assume that they are like critical processes that we cannot really disrupt. Yeah, I think you would need to find a solution within your RIM for this field to maybe include I don't know, a business rule that doesn't QC this value or something. Yeah, we are sorry, we cannot really change this value for the moment.
Okay. Could you please repeat the correct ticket category for PMS data quality issues?
I would need to check this one. Wait, I'm trying to find. Otherwise, Veronica is voiceless today, but I don't know if you remember Veronica maybe by heart.
I'm checking too. Sorry, I'm without voice. And I'll let you know in the ticket straight away.
Well, I can share. I actually have it here. So I'm gonna share 1 second my screen. So you can report an issue with the PLM portal, PMS product UI, and here you can say PMS product data. You also have product UI access, functionalities, or general. This is product data, and we can review this issue. Then subject, you include whatever you want as a subject. And in the description, please provide as many information as possible, like PMS ID, CV codes, what is the issue that you have. Here you can find all the information. I think there is also another one for a spore. Report an issue with PMS. And you can use this one to select the subject, and then you describe everything that you need. Okay, it's report an issue with PMS. If it's not an issue and then it's a question, then you need to raise a request for information, and we will provide the information. So if it's an incident, this one, if it's a question, then you use the request information.
Perfect. So this. Okay, so just one comment. As rules are changing from webinar to webinar with no written guidelines, is it really hard? It is really hard to follow. For example, we have finished validation of products. Now M3 can be used as reference.
No, module 3 cannot be used, well, can be used as a reference, but if you want to send the data as module 3, you need to change. So we are not really changing the rules. In fact, all the webinars that we do is most of the times the same information like how to submit the data, etc. It is true that we are doing some adjustments because when we deploy something, we try to find all the information we discuss with the SMEs, but then when we open the system, we receive additional feedback. So for example, with this agency on the MBO, etc., because we have access now to way more users and more scenarios that maybe they didn't, we didn't take them into account. And then we are changing this rule. Now it will not be mandatory, it will be optional, or so that one we agree we are changing, but it's to accommodate to the needs of the users. Also, for the module 3, the fact that marketing authorization holders can use module 3 in XCBMPD. That was a requirement from marketing authorization holders. So we are listening to you and we are trying to improve the processes. That doesn't mean that you need to change your composition right now in XCBMPD if you don't want to do it. If you want to still use the SMPC, that's totally fine. You can use it. You don't need to change anything. There are companies that they prefer to use module 3. Then we are now giving this opportunity, but we are not changing the rules. We are just giving more choices to the holders because we listen to their needs and we adjust, or we try to do it. But again, it's not mandatory for you now to do any change if you don't want to do it. It's the same with the SVG flag zero substances. We give you now the chance to change them, but it's not mandatory to do it. You can do it or not. So yeah, we understand that some changes are happening just because of that. We are opening the system, we are receiving feedback, and we are adjusting. But we are trying to minimize and to give the most of the information. Also, we have a lot of webinars to give summaries to the users on what to do, how to do it, etc. And we try to write on the guidelines everything. We have updated chapter 2, we have updated chapter 3, chapter 9 as well. So the data in principle is there.
Okay, next question. Will module 3 data supersede over SMPC for IDMP? If there are differences in SMPC and mod 3, will mod 3 be taken as reference in PMS?
We don't know the answer to this yet. The point is, now for the composition, you can use module 3 or the SMPC. If there are discrepancies, there are differences, AMA holder has the option to decide which one to use. For manufacturers, obviously it's module 3 because it's where the data is coming from. So we are given the opportunity to use both documents and you can align. For the future, the idea is that we can use maybe both documents, but we still need to define this process with the network, with industry, with the NCAs, internally at EMA. So we don't really know, but we are working towards having the possibility to use both documents. Also, the idea is that in the future, these two documents should be standardized and they should contain the same information. We know that is not possible and that will take time and discussions with the network, but that is the idea, to have the same information in all the sections of the dossier. But that is the answer that we can give you for the moment.
Okay, perfect. So next question. We have raised tickets 2 minutes ago for PMS migration issues, missing products, duplicate products, but no response received. And there's a reference to the ticket.
Yeah, I would say it's not 2 minutes ago, but 2 months ago. We know we have a big backlog of tickets. We are working on that. We have a reduced team. We are focusing and trying to close all tickets. So we will take this one. And I mean, we have given instructions to the team to review all tickets from last year so we can close them as soon as possible and give the feedback to the user. So we will review again. I already said this yesterday as well. We will ask the colleagues to review these tickets that they have been open for a long time. and we will try to at least give a reply, and as soon as possible we can close them.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry for absolutely makes sense. I just read it incorrectly. Thank you. Okay, so next question. EMA is releasing new change requirements in this session, for instance, MBO agency changing to not required. Can these changes also be communicated in writing when the FAQ is updated? Can you also give the track changes version to aid review?
I'm not sure if the Q&A document can be included in track changes. I will check with the team because this is in the PLM portal and it's a bit of a different document, but I think we can do it. We can try to do it. Every time there are changes like this or we solve an issue, we update the relevant documentation. So I don't know, we have updated now chapter 3 with the list of manufacturing business operations that are applicable to PMS. That was also a request, like you were asking, we need the business operations. We don't know which one to use. We have updated chapter 3. We have also updated now in February the Q&A document with additional information. So whenever we do these changes, we will update the relevant document. For some of them is we cannot really put the track changes, but we will try to do it for the documents that we can.
Okay, next question. Could you explain why XCV MPD requirements don't change for LI, IS, NO when data is not migrating to PMS? A lot of effort is put to update data for these countries, often through routes of XCV MPD submissions due to local SMPC's availability.
Yeah, so I also asked this question when we were discussing the topic on the products for these countries. It seems that in XCV-MPD, this is needed for a pharmacovigilance or fee, pharmacovigilance process or pharmacovigilance fees calculation. And that's why in XCV-MPD, these records are needed. For the moment, and that cannot be changed because the algorithm that is using the XCV-MPD data, it was built 10 years ago the way it was built, and that's why we cannot change this business rule. That's why you need to maintain the data in XCV-MPD. For PMS, we are trying to do it in a different way. For us, a medicinal product, a CAP, it's only one medicinal product that is authorized around Europe and the EEA countries, but it's only one product. That's why we are migrating only the, let's say, one record, the EU record, because we consider that we don't need to have separate products for Liechtenstein, Iceland, and Norway. Whenever you need to report the marketing status, for example, for these countries, it will be reported under the same medicinal product, not in a different one. So that's why the discrepancy. In PMS, it's only one product authorized in Europe and EA countries. In XCV-MPD, they need the data for fees and pharmacovigilance activities. That is the difference.
Okay, perfect. So next question. Okay, so known issues of duplicate entities and incorrect ingredients are solved, but when we review data for CAPS products in PMS, we found out that data for therapeutic indications or ingredients of pharmaceutical product levels is still missing.
I will review this point. I will try to check the indications then and the pharmaceutical products for CAPS. I will also check the team to have a look at this. Because in principle, they reviewed and everything was done, but I'm receiving feedback here that there were some activities maybe that they were not correctly done, so I will check it with them.
Okay, next question. For one of our products, most of the UMAs are missing. XCV-MPD was reported correctly. Who can add this MAs?
So this one looks like, I hope EU, it's like, it's not a CAP. Yeah, I would say it's European Marketing Authorization. So this looks like either this is an issue with the log ID that is mapped and maybe it's inactive or something like this. Your products are not having this mapping with the authorized dose form. I would recommend you to have a look at the Q&A document for these two known issues and check if they fall under one of those. as soon as we solve the issue with this, the dose form, they will appear. So most likely in March, they will appear because we will be solving this issue. But if you see that your products, I don't know, the ones for have like very simple authorized dose form like tablets, capsules, things like that. If you are missing them, then let us know. We need to check. But if you have things like solvent and solution for infusion and things like that, the issue might come from with the RMS mapping to the dose form, and therefore they are not in the product UI, and that will be solved in March.
Okay, so next question. Manufacturing activity term manufacturing of finished products intermediates was included in the list and made as inactive. What's the reason?
I would need to check with the RMS team.
Marcos,
Yeah.
maybe I can take this question. So I'll check with RMS team as Marcos mentioned, but if you have a look on the RMS portal, there is a document section, and published there is the minutes because this list, the manufacturing activity RMS list, is reviewed on a routine basis by a multidisciplinary team, and the minutes are published and made available indeed to prevent this type of questions. So I would recommend to have a look on these documents because there is plenty of reasons for which justifying each decision has been taken. And then I'll reply also in write in slide to this question, so you can have both feedback. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Veronica.
Okay. Next question. If SciMed data is missing, will data from XCV MPD data will not migrate to PMS? Does SciMed and XCV MPD data migrate together?
No, so as far as you have the product and the packages from SciMed, then if the match and merge is done with the XCV MPD EV codes, then the data will flow. So that shouldn't prevent you to have updates. So for example, indications are coming from XCV MPD. So if you have the product from SciMed, then the data will be updated, or the pharmaceutical product as well. You just need to have an EV code assigned to its presentation on PMS. That is the trigger to receive the updates from XCV MPD.
Okay, perfect. Next question. Will the EV codes for LIISNO be nullified in the future as these are not migrated to PMS and only the Central's records EV codes migrate? It might impact supply chain labeling.
No. We are not nullifying anything on XCV MPD. Whatever you have in XCV MPD will remain there. There is no change. It's just we are not migrating them to PMS. That is the difference. It is true that we are migrating them on these EV codes, the one for EU. That is the rule. I will try to come back with the SMEs with this topic because I see a lot of questions here and we will discuss. But that is for the moment the answer. So yeah, I have taken this question with the supply chain and everything, also with the dates of authorization. We will discuss with the SMEs if they foresee any problem, and then we will come back.
Okay, perfect. So I might just, as we have a few more minutes, I'll just go forward because we have just a couple questions for you. Okay, we'll launch the survey now. And if you can answer, this would be really useful because we always like to have feedback on these sessions to understand what has gone well and what can be improved for the future. So thank you for that. Now move back to the questions. Okay. So question, when are you planning to release PMS, PLM, UAT, where vendors could do testing with dummy data?
I guess you are referring to the PMS API UAT. So We will have first this webinar on the right PMS API to provide feedback and explain a bit. Then there will be a call for interest for vendors to and for MA holders to register to the right PMS API UAT. And we will do this UAT with the ones that are selected from this call from interest. You will receive additional information. We are preparing all the information. Veronica is working on that. So we will release additional information on this. So just bear with us, and you will get more information on the UAT that we are planning.
Maybe, Marcus, I can add a few points. So, colleagues, we invite you to join and to register if you're interested to the event that we're hosting, as Marcus mentioned, on the 14th of March. And the title is Unlocking Integration MAH and Software Developers to Explore PMS API Machine-to-Machine Connection. Now, unfortunately, I regret to inform you that the EMA website is down. And we have reported this because we wanted, of course, to have it restored SAP. So you can't immediately register, but once it's restored, if you're interested, please go and register. As Marcos mentioned, the call for interest in joining as a tester, volunteer, the PMS API UAT will be launched via the industry trade organizations. So in this case, we recommend you to get in touch with your industry trade organizations because they will be the ones receiving this communication and cascade it to the different industry members for you to evaluate the possible candidate. And you will receive more information on that soon.
Thank you, Veronica. So yeah, I don't know if you are talking, Vivian. I cannot hear you, but I can take. We have just three.
Yes.
Okay, now yeah.
Okay. Yes, I was saying we just have a couple more minutes, so yes, I'll leave you to answer this question.
So this one, I don't understand the question. Sorry. So I would need a bit of more information. I don't really understand it. So yeah, sorry for that. Then for this one, if you have a cap where the ATC code is not complete, then you need to raise a ticket and we will investigate why the change has not been taken. And then for the information regarding the manufacturers and the MBOs, it's only for medicinal product and active ingredients. That is correct. And as I said, in chapter 3, we have updated the document. You have the list of manufacturing business operations that are needed in PMS, and you have them split it like for the batch releaser, the MBOs linked to the medicinal product, and the MBOs linked to the active ingredient. So you have a table with the name and the IDs from RMS that you should be using.
Okay, thank you very much. So we've answered all the questions, and I'll leave the word to Marcos to close the meeting, but thank you.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everybody. I'm not sure if we have another Q&A like this.
No, it's the last one of this session, exactly.
Okay, then we will see you around in the different webinars that we have. So the right PMS API, the system demos, the different webinars. Thank you very much and have a nice day.